In the vast, silent darkness of space, Earth hung like a forgotten marble, overlooked by the Grand Galactic Consortium. For centuries, humanity had been deemed primitive, a species barely worth acknowledging in the complex tapestry of interstellar civilizations. Deep beneath the mountains of Chile, a secret research facility hummed with an energy that would soon change everything. Dr. June Park sat surrounded by holographic displays, his tired eyes reflecting lines of complex code and advanced schematics. Outside his workspace, rows of technicians worked with calculated precision, each movement deliberate and focused. The project was called Harbinger, a prototype weapons system that defied conventional understanding of technology. Unlike traditional military developments, this was something entirely different. It wasn't just a machine, it was a living, adaptive computational matrix designed to learn, predict, and neutralize threats with unprecedented efficiency. June's team had spent years working in complete secrecy. Governments worldwide had pooled resources, understanding that this project represented humanity's ultimate insurance policy. Years of being marginalized by advanced alien civilizations had taught them one crucial lesson: preparation was survival. The facility itself was a marvel of engineering. Built deep underground, shielded by multiple layers of advanced materials that could block any form of external scanning or detection, it was a fortress of innovation. Quantum computers lined entire walls, their soft blue lights pulsing like electronic heartbeats. What made Harbinger unique was its core design. Traditional weapons relied on predictable algorithms and fixed response patterns. Harbinger, however, was different. It could analyze potential threat scenarios in milliseconds, adapting its defensive and offensive capabilities in real time. Its computational power exceeded anything known in the galaxy. Dr. Park watched as the latest simulation ran, a complex scenario involving multiple attack vectors from hypothetical alien fleets. The system didn't just respond, it anticipated, predicted, and neutralized threats before they could fully materialize. Each test pushed the boundaries of what was considered possible. The team knew the risks. If word of their project leaked, they would become an immediate target. The Galactic Consortium had a history of neutralizing potential technological threats, often through diplomatic pressure or, more commonly, military intervention. But June and his team were prepared for that too. Surrounding the facility were multiple defensive layers. Advanced drone systems, electromagnetic pulse generators, and stealth protection mechanisms ensured that even if someone discovered their location, breaching would be nearly impossible. Every contingency had been meticulously planned. Outside the facility, the world continued its normal routine. Unaware that within these mountain walls, humanity was preparing its most sophisticated response to potential extraterrestrial aggression. Farmers worked their fields, cities bustled with daily life, and governments maintained their diplomatic facades. June occasionally looked at the photographs on his workstation, images of his parents, who had always believed that humanity's greatest strength was its ability to adapt and innovate. Their belief had been his motivation through years of challenging research. The Harbinger prototype was more than a weapon. It represented hope, a statement that humanity would not be easily conquered or ignored. Every line of code, every quantum computation was a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. As another simulation completed, Dr. Park allowed himself a small smile. Soon, the galaxy would understand that Earth was not just another forgotten planet. They were about to become a force that would reshape interstellar dynamics forever. The soft hum of computers continued, a quiet symphony of technological promise. In the heart of the Chilean mountains, humanity's ultimate response was taking shape, silent, deadly, and ready to challenge anyone who would underestimate them. Outside, the stars continued their eternal dance, unaware of the revolution being quietly engineered beneath the Earth's surface. Harbinger was coming, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The Imperial Scout fleet approached Earth's solar system with a sense of routine boredom. Commander Rax had made countless similar missions across the galaxy, always finding primitive worlds that barely registered on advanced technological scales. His massive vessel, sleek and metallic, cut through space like a knife, its long-range scanners sweeping mechanically across the surrounding star systems. Inside the command deck, holographic displays showed minimal data about the blue-green planet ahead. Earth appeared as nothing more than a tiny, its technological signatures weak and unimpressive. The crew of experienced Imperial soldiers barely paid attention, most engaged in routine maintenance or casual conversations. Commander Hee-Won Kim watched from Earth's advanced monitoring station, her fingers hovering above strategic control panels. She understood something the Imperial fleet did not. Appearances could be deeply misleading. Every movement of the alien vessel was being tracked, analyzed, and recorded with microscopic precision. Rax opened communication channels, his voice carrying the typical arrogance of an Imperial commander. Unidentified planetary system, this is Imperial Scout Fleet. You are required to acknowledge our presence and prepare for standard reconnaissance protocols. The transmission was deliberate and provocative. Imperial protocol demanded submission from less advanced civilizations. They expected a response of fear, perhaps desperate attempts to communicate or negotiate. What they did not expect was silence. Minutes passed. No response came from Earth. The Imperial fleet continued its approach, scanning systems and mapping potential entry points. Rax felt a growing irritation. Every other planetary system they had encountered offered some form of communication, even if rudimentary. Deep within Earth's military command center, strategists watched with calculated patience. This was not weakness, but a carefully orchestrated plan. Commander Kim understood that the Imperial fleet was providing exactly what they needed: a perfect testing ground for the Harbinger prototype. The Scout fleet began more aggressive scanning procedures, penetrating Earth's outer atmospheric layers. Their technology was advanced, capable of detecting minute details about planetary defenses. Yet, they saw nothing that suggested any meaningful resistance. Rax decided to escalate. Planetary system, this is your final warning. Prepare for mandatory Imperial inspection and potential resource assessment. Still, silence. What the Imperial fleet did not realize was that Earth's defensive systems were so advanced, they were effectively invisible. Quantum camouflage technology developed by Dr. June Park's team meant that no conventional scanning method could penetrate their true technological capabilities. Inside the Mountain Research Facility, Dr. Park watched the Imperial fleet's approach with clinical detachment. Every movement was being recorded, every communication analyzed. The Harbinger prototype was online, its quantum processors ready to respond with millisecond precision. The Imperial vessels began positioning themselves in what they believed was a standard reconnaissance formation. They had done this countless times across numerous star systems. This was routine. This was predictable. Commander Kim allowed herself a small smile. The Imperial fleet was about to learn that Earth was anything but predictable. As the final positioning of Imperial ships completed, a signal was quietly transmitted from Earth's hidden command center. The Harbinger prototype received its activation sequence. Quantum circuits began warming up, adaptive algorithms preparing for engagement. Rax still believed this was a standard mission. He had no idea that within moments, everything he understood about technological superiority would be completely shattered. The stage was set. The players were in position. And humanity was about to make its first, unforgettable statement to the galactic community. Silence continued to reign. But beneath that silence, something extraordinary was preparing to emerge. The Imperial fleet would soon understand that silence was not weakness. For Earth, silence was a prelude to something far more powerful. The moment arrived with mathematical precision. Harbinger activated, not as a simple weapon, but as a living computational matrix that defied every known law of technological engagement. Commander Rax first noticed something was wrong when his primary navigation systems began to flicker. Holographic displays distorted, showing impossible geometric patterns that seemed to consume information faster than they could be processed. What appeared to be a simple scan was actually a complete digital invasion of their entire system. Quantum disruption waves emerged from seemingly nowhere. The first Imperial scout ship simply vanished, not exploded, not damaged, but completely erased from existence. No debris, no energy signature, nothing. Just empty space where a massive warship had been seconds before. Dr. June Park watched the engagement through remote systems, his breath steady. Years of secret development were now being tested in real time. Harbinger was performing exactly as designed: adaptive, ruthless, and beyond comprehension. The Imperial fleet's advanced shields, which had protected them through countless conflicts across the galaxy, became nothing more than fragile glass. Harbinger's computational systems analyzed each shield's frequency, molecular structure, and potential weakness in microseconds. Then it simply dismantled them. One by one, Imperial vessels began to disappear. Not destroyed in traditional ways, but systematically removed from spatial existence. The computational precision was terrifying. Each ship's destruction followed a pattern so complex that it seemed almost like an intricate dance of digital destruction. Commander Hee-Won Kim's voice remained calm through the communication systems. "Harbinger is performing at 98.7% efficiency," she reported to the underground command center. Her team watched in silent amazement as humanity's ultimate technological statement unfolded. The Imperial fleet's commander, Rax, could not comprehend what was happening. His most advanced tracking systems showed nothing: no weapon signatures, no energy discharges, just the methodical elimination of his entire fleet. Panic began to replace his initial arrogance. Harbinger was more than a weapon. It was a sentient computational entity that could predict, analyze, and neutralize threats before they could even be conceived. Its quantum processors worked at speeds that made traditional computing look like ancient abacus calculations. Within 17 minutes, the entire Imperial scout fleet ceased to exist. No distress signals were sent. No emergency protocols activated. Just a silent, precise elimination that would become a nightmare story told across galactic communication networks. What made Harbinger truly terrifying was its selectivity. It didn't just destroy randomly. Each elimination was calculated, precise, with zero collateral damage. It was surgical technological warfare at its most extreme manifestation. Dr. Park understood something profound was happening. This wasn't just a military test. This was humanity's declaration to the galaxy, a statement that they were no longer a civilization to be ignored or underestimated. The quantum disruption waves continued to pulse, erasing any potential evidence of the engagement. To any external observer, it would appear as though the Imperial fleet had simply never existed. Commander Kim allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Years of secret development, countless simulations, and absolute secrecy had culminated in this single, perfect moment of technological supremacy. Harbinger completed its engagement sequence, its quantum processors cooling down. The mission was accomplished with a precision that defied traditional understanding of warfare. No human lives had been risked. No traditional weapons had been deployed. In the vast darkness of space, where the Imperial scout fleet had once existed, only silence remained. A silence that spoke volumes about humanity's true potential. The galaxy would soon learn a critical lesson: Earth was not a forgotten planet. Earth was a sleeping technological giant, and it had just opened its eyes. The first message had been sent. And it was a message of absolute, unquestionable power. The news spread through the galactic Imperial communication networks like a virus of pure shock. An entire scout fleet, one of the most advanced and well-equipped units in Imperial history, had completely vanished near the Sol system. No debris. No survivors. Nothing. Imperial High Command gathered in their central chamber, a massive circular room where holographic displays showed the impossible, complete deletion of an entire fleet's existence. Admiral Krell, the senior military strategist, could not believe his eyes. Centuries of galactic dominance had never prepared them for this level of technological shock. Impossible, whispered one senior commander. No civilization could achieve such complete elimination. The records showed something unprecedented. The scout fleet, led by the experienced Commander Rax, had approached a planet classified as primitive Earth. All standard protocols suggested this should have been a routine reconnaissance mission. Instead, something extraordinary had occurred. Quantum analysis teams worked frantically, trying to reconstruct what might have happened. Their most advanced scanning technologies revealed nothing. It was as if the entire fleet had been erased from spatial existence by something beyond current technological understanding. Admiral Sunho Lee watched these developments from Earth's hidden command center. He understood the psychological warfare happening in this moment. This wasn't just a military engagement, this was a message to the entire galactic community about humanity's true potential. The Imperial communication networks began to buzz with speculation. Some suggested a massive technological anomaly. Others whispered about a potential new weapon system. But no one could explain the complete, surgical elimination of an entire fleet. Political leaders in the Imperial Council began emergency meetings. The implications were staggering. If a supposedly primitive civilization could eliminate an entire scout fleet without leaving any trace, what did that mean for their current understanding of technological hierarchy? Dr. June Park and his team continued monitoring the Imperial responses. Each communication, each moment of confusion was another validation of their years of secret development. Harbinger had done more than destroy a fleet, it had introduced a completely new paradigm of technological engagement. Imperial research teams began pulling every possible record, every scanning log, every tiny piece of data they could find about the engagement. But Harbinger had been meticulous. There was nothing to find. No energy signatures. No weapon traces. Just empty space where an advanced fleet had once existed. The psychological impact was immediate. Planets and civilizations under Imperial control began to reassess their understanding of humanity. If Earth could do this, what else might they be capable of? Commander Hee-won Kim understood that this was just the beginning. The real challenge would be managing the galactic response to their demonstration of technological superiority. Imperial military strategists found themselves in uncharted territory. Their most advanced predictive models, developed over centuries of galactic conquest, suddenly seemed obsolete. How do you plan a strategy against an enemy that can eliminate your most advanced units without even revealing its true capabilities? The silence from Earth was perhaps the most terrifying element. No explanations. No negotiations. Just a simple, brutal demonstration of technological might that left the entire Imperial structure in a state of complete paralysis. Admiral Krell finally spoke in the High Command Chamber, his voice filled with a mixture of fear and reluctant respect. "We have underestimated them," he said quietly. "And now we must face the consequences." The galactic power dynamics had changed in a single, silent moment. A civilization they had ignored, a planet they had considered insignificant, had just demonstrated a level of technological sophistication that challenged everything they knew about interstellar warfare. Earth had awoken. And the galaxy would never be the same again. In the weeks following the Imperial fleet's elimination, Earth transformed from an overlooked planet to the most discussed civilization in the galactic communication networks. The quantum weapon system called Harbinger had become a legend, a technological phantom that redefined military capabilities. Dr. June Park's research facility began mass-producing advanced prototype systems. Each new weapon carried the same adaptive quantum computing technology that had decimated the Imperial scout fleet. Factories deep within mountain ranges and hidden underground complexes worked around the clock, creating technological marvels that defied conventional understanding. The Galactic Imperial Council found themselves in an unprecedented situation. Their centuries of technological superiority had been challenged by a civilization they had previously considered primitive. Emergency meetings became daily occurrences, with senior strategists attempting to understand how humanity had developed such advanced technology without any prior indication. Commander Hee-won Kim understood that this was more than a military demonstration. This was a strategic reset of galactic power dynamics. Humanity was no longer going to be a passive observer in interstellar politics. They were now a force to be recognized and respected. Diplomatic channels became complex and tense. Other planetary civilizations that had been under Imperial control began sending discreet communication requests to Earth. They wanted to understand how a supposedly weak civilization could challenge the most powerful military force in the known galaxy. Earth's response was calculated and simple: "We are here, we are advanced, and we will defend ourselves." The economic implications were immediate. Trade routes that had been controlled by the Imperial Consortium suddenly became negotiable. Planetary systems that had been forced into strict economic agreements now saw an opportunity for potential independence. Admiral Sung-Ho Lee monitored global responses. He knew that the Harbinger's demonstration was not just about military might, but about challenging established galactic hierarchies. Humanity had essentially told the universe that they would no longer accept being marginalized. Production of quantum-based defensive and offensive systems continued. Each prototype carried the DNA of the original Harbinger system, adaptive, intelligent, and capable of processing threat scenarios faster than any known computational matrix. The Imperial leadership found themselves in a psychological trap. They could not retaliate without risking complete elimination. They could not ignore the demonstration. They could not even fully comprehend the technology that had destroyed their fleet. Dr. Park watched these developments with a sense of quiet satisfaction. Years of secret research, countless simulations, and absolute dedication had transformed humanity from an overlooked species to a potential galactic power. Other planetary civilizations began reassessing their understanding of technological development. If humans could achieve this level of technological sophistication in secret, what other capabilities might they be hiding? The message was clear and simple: Earth was not just another planet. Earth was a sleeping technological giant that had now fully awakened. Harbinger had done more than eliminate a fleet. It had fundamentally altered the understanding of technological potential. Military strategists across different civilizations began studying every available piece of information about the engagement, trying to understand the quantum computational methods used. Commander Kim understood that this was just the beginning. The real challenge would be managing the galactic response to their demonstration of technological superiority. As communication networks buzzed with speculation and fear, Earth remained calm. No additional demonstrations were needed. The single engagement with the Imperial Scout fleet had said everything that needed to be said. A new galactic order was emerging. And humanity was at its center. The universe would never be the same again,